Hello, friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
How's it going, Jen?
It's going.
Got any Jen updates for us?
I recently got a new fountain pen, which has been very exciting.
Is that the replacement for the one that sucked?
Yeah. You know, you can't win them all.
Okay, so once you got a non-broken pen, it works great.
It's pretty great.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
How are you? Any updates on the Levi side?
As you know, Jen, we're going to go and do some new deep dungeon Eureka Orthos later on today. It's going to be pretty sweet.
It's going to be pretty sweet. It's hard, but it's interesting.
It's going to get harder from there.
Yeah, no, it's great. Because, you know, Palace of the Dead, you're just like until quite a few floors in. And then you're like, okay, now I actually have to pay attention.
Yep.
But this, you got to be on your shit right away.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So, yeah, we've been enjoying that.
But Jen, today...
But Jen.
Before we get into that, we're going to do some talking about the Final Fantasy XIV main story quest.
Yes, we are.
We are going to be chasing down our newly encountered Ascian and seeing where that takes us.
Yeah, this is our first... No, it's not. This is our second investigation for the Scions.
Yeah.
The first one we investigated was the abductions in Thanalan, and now we are after Lahabrea.
But first, what happened last time?
Sylph stuff. Okay, we wrapped up the whole sylph primal situation. We went looking for the Elder, which had been, he had been chased into Totorock. And so we did the Totorock dungeon to rescue Frixio. And this is where we found... right before the boss fight, this is where we found Lahabrea, and he introduced himself to us, and then sticked a giant diorite on our party, which is very rude. We easily dispatched the diorite, we freed Frixio, we went back to the sylphs in Little Solace to, I guess, continue the talks. The whole point of this entire thing was just to be like, hey, you guys aren't going to summon your primal anytime soon, are you? And they're going to be like, no, that's stupid. And as a sign of trust, we got what was was it orange? Was it bright orange? No, it's purple. The purple crystal.
Yes, the lightning crystal.
The lightning crystal.
Because Ramuh is the lightning primal. Right. So now we are returning to the Waking Sands. And as we roll into the solar, we see the whole gang's here. Biggs and Wedge are here, as is Alphino.
Yeah, he's front and center.
And he and Minfilia are discussing something mysterious. First, they kind of close out a recap of our exploits with the sylphs, because as we might recall, Papalymo and Ida went ahead of us to report back. Then their conversation goes on to something else. Minfilia asks Alphino about an investigation he's working on, to which he replies, "They are many and one, just as you suspected. Their purpose, however, eludes us still." And I admit I cannot discern or recall what they're talking about here. Do you know, Jen?
They are many and one. I don't know. Maybe he is trying to sniff out maybe Garlean spies within the ranks of the Immortal Flames.
I think many and one doesn't really speak to Garlemald.
Unless it's, he's also trying to dig into the Ascian menace.
That was my first inclination, just because if they're going to be vague and mysterious about something,
sure,
it'll be the Ascians. But also, I can see a connection if I unfocus my eyes, but it doesn't really resonate with what I think of the Ascians. So we'll look forward to figuring out what Alphino is working on later.
I don't think we're necessarily supposed to know.
Anyway, after that little aside, Minfilia then inquires about Alice, to which Alphino replies, she has chosen to walk her own path. And with that, Alphino departs, leaving another report from the students of Beldecian. And just then we enter the solar. Alphino gives us a look of recognition on his way out. It's not even like a nod, it's just he looks at us as he's walking out.
God, it's so weird.
He's such a shit right now.
Yeah, he's goddamn. It hurts a little bit.
I love it. It's so fucking... He's such a turd. So after he gives us the look...
I'm like, really? That's it?
The Scions discuss the other primal threats. Most fronts are secure for now. The other primals are either quiet or have not been sighted recently, except for Garuda, who they don't have eyes on. Minfilia laments the absence of someone, which we can infer right now it's Sid Garland. She's not talking about Louis Soir for once.
Yeah.
But anyway, because there's nothing pressing now, it's break time. Everyone clears out of the solar.
Yeah.
Except we tell Minfilia one-on-one that we met the Ascian Lahabrea during our exploits. She's like, oh shit, that's some big news.
Yikes.
That they should reveal themselves in person to you.
Yeah.
With the primals on hold, now is a great time to investigate the Ascians further. But just then, there's a scream from the reception area.
Oh god. Everybody run. Tataru, she's on the ground. She has freaked out. And the thing in front of her that caused her to be so scared is Neuraxia, who followed us to the Waking Sands. And
Neuraxia the sylph.
Correct. The sylph with the maple leaf face. And I guess if you've never seen a sylph, it can be a little jarring, even though they are very cute. But again, they're a little bit larger than Tataru, and they fly, and they look a little weird. So she screams and freaks out, and everybody's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. It's just Neuraxia. And Tataru is like, why didn't y'all tell me?
Neuraxia is here because after our gesture of friendship, the Sylph Elder has sent her here to help out the Scions.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We're happy to have you.
Crisis averted.
Tataru is she's a little embarrassed, I think.
She'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
We can now return to the solar to resume our conversation with Minfilia. But if we're so inclined, we can take a detour to the break room / storage room. And a lot has changed between last time and this time.
Mm-hmm.
First off, another one of the merchant brothers is here. Brement is now looking for his brothers. He just missed Brennan, who was here last time. And then there are 2 red-haired, eye-patched adventurers. They might be siblings. They look very similar.
Yeah, their outfits are similar. They both have eye patches. I'm thinking definitely related, or they're a couple with some, I don't know, toxic traits.
You can talk to the guy. His name is Clive. The lady with him is not interactable, so she's a mystery right now. But Clive says he's from the students of Baldessian.
Mm-hmm.
Biggs and Wedge are down here, lamenting still that Sid is missing. Leovin is here also, the archer from Edda's party. And she's using a pitchfork to rake the stone floor.
She's like, I've decided to start my training again. Like, your training involves raking the floor.
She's using the pitchfork like a broom.
Yep.
And you can hear it scraping
it against
across
the floor.
the stone. Like, what is she doing? This is so confusing.
I don't know. Somebody enlighten us, please. Because it was like, is she, and she's behind like a partition. So she's separated herself that way. But I guess, if you're scraping a pitchfork against a stone floor, it's going to be really annoying.
Is she being pranked by someone?
I don't know what sort of training this is. Or if, I don't know.
Another mystery for this episode.
So that's what she's doing. She's starting her training all over again. And, she's just trying to keep her mind occupied because bad memories tend to surface when she's kind of still. Shit, I get that. So let her rake the floor, I guess.
It's CrossFit. That's what it is.
Oh my fucking great. This is part of my keto diet.
There's also a new guy down here, Haribert.
Harry Bear.
He's a blonde Highlander with swept back hair and shades.
No, so this guy is a blonde Salt Bae who has gone to a Renaissance fair.
Or that.
That's what he looks like.
Great. If we talk to him, he waxes philosophical about Alamigo.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 types of Alamigans. Fools who fight back but don't know how, and cowards who have fled. And he's the latter.
Yeah.
We'll note him for later.
Mm-hmm. And
we have other people down here too, but they don't say anything very deep or interesting.
No, I did check in with Arenvald, and he's just like, oh, I think I'm getting my first assignment soon. Very excited.
Oh, shoot. No, I did miss Urianjay and Una Tayun, the former Warrior of Light, are hanging out down here with the other warriors in Una's party. She seems to have realized that she is one of the former Warriors of Light, but she's not sure if it's worth trying to take credit for it. She wonders if maybe people will be mad at her for having ultimately failed to stop Dalamud from hatching and Bahamut from breaking out and rampaging across the countryside.
Right, like could they have done more, something like that. I'm like, that's a really awful position to be in.
Yeah.
Yes, I did talk to her and Oriange.
Anyway, back to Minfilia. She has pinged the Grand Companies of Eorzea about this sighting of Lahabrea.
Mm-hmm.
And the Flames have seen something suspicious. So we're off to Flame Commander Swift in Ul'dah. And for this investigation, we are solo. There are no Scions backing us up.
Yeah, they're all busy.
They're busy taking a break.
Yeah, they're all in Costa del Sol, sipping sangria.
They are literally in the break room, lounging.
Yeah, of course. And of course, Ishtola is deep in the tomes, as always.
We report to Ul'dah and find Swift in the Hall of Flames, the Immortal Flames headquarters. He reports that a brass blade has sighted someone looking like Lahabrea in eastern Thanalan, but this person was killed during a Kikern raid 2 days ago, so the witness is now dead. All the same, it's a lead, so we head off to Highbridge in eastern Thanalan to go investigate.
Yeah.
This is the city perched on the cliffside next to the massive chasm that runs through eastern Thanalan. We were here for the finale to the Gladiator questline.
That's right.
And the first person we question is a merchant named Hihibaru. He's like a merchant Santa.
A merchant Santa?
His headscarf is white on the bottom and red on top.
Yeah, but that's literally the only connection to Santa. They have the same colorway in headwear.
That's a very
There's no
iconic
facial
color
hair.
scheme.
There's no white hair. The rest of his outfit has no connection to Santa or Christmas at all.
It was my first thought on seeing him. So
that's
you do
interesting.
you, Jen.
That's interesting. All right, we speak to a small Santa in Highbridge. Hihibaru is chilling in Highbridge, and he's like, yeah, I've heard rumors around town about some masked guy running around, but that's pretty much it. And I'm kind of just trying to make a go of it out here. I sold everything I had to post up in Highbridge, thinking that with the excavation going on underneath, the Order of Nothal doing all that shit, I'm like, this is going to be the new hotspot. People are going to be coming in from all over the realm, passing through, and I was going to capitalize on that. And none of that materialized because, probably for a variety of reasons, but the biggest one is the tribesmen constantly attacking the settlement. So everybody's scared. So there's no business. Great. He tells us, you probably have better luck talking to some other folks because all I have is rumor. So good luck to you. So we do. We kind of run around Highbridge and talk to some people, and they're like, kind of similar. We talked to a number of merchants, and I'm like, y'all, maybe this tiny settlement can only I think there's only room for an merchant, Maybe that's why y'all have been struggling with business.
I think that if it were not in such a rough state right now, it'd be fine. It's on a major trade road.
It is.
And also, there are airship docks, too, on the side of the settlement.
Oh, it is. It has the infrastructure for major trade to happen here. But, it's scary. Kierans are like all around them, and the attacks are very frequent, and they're very, organized, I guess.
We head back to him and say, we haven't found shit all. Then he's like, oh, well, that sucks. Neither have I. These concurrent attacks seem to be strangely orchestrated.
Yeah, it's like they're much more frequent now, and they're organized in such a way that it seems like somebody is helping them. So they're teaching them like better battle tactics. They're encouraging them to do this more frequently. For something is going on. This is a very noticeable ramp up.
We turn the quest in, and then a new one pops up immediately. But I think we're supposed to go take a nap or something. He has an update for us now.
Yeah.
When he said a second ago that there was no news.
This is the issue when, you just kind of like barrel through the MSQ and
there's no Aetherite here. Who's going to turn this quest in and not take the next quest?
I know.
That's never going to happen. Later on in later content, they make you go somewhere else if you need time to pass. Like, it'll be, okay, so you go hang out with these guys for a while, and then when you return, then something has happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a power nap, and then there's news.
Yeah.
He has seen recently a fire in the countryside, and he went to go investigate, and he saw our robed, masked figure talking to some Kikerns around this fire.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks maybe if we were to stage a similar fire, we might summon the Kikerns. We can then interrogate them for their secrets about this person.
Yeah. Obviously, this smoke signal is a way to reach his co-conspirators and have conversations. So we're going to do it too and see what happens. So he gives us this smoldering piece of coal, and we go out to that spot, light it up, get the smoke going, and a pugilist corpse brigade member pops in and fights us. And this is, I mean, he's a little bit out of his area, a little bit.
Yep.
But yeah, that's interesting. I was expecting Kakirans, but no, we got a rando from like the Little Alamigo area.
We may recall that the Corpse Brigade are the former flunkies of the late King of Alamigo. When the king fell, they feared retaliation from the people they oppressed, and so they fled, and they are now functionally bandits. And when we take out the soldier, we loot him, and we find a prayer scroll. Hihibaru informs us that it's a prayer to Rulger the Destroyer, who is primarily worshipped in Alamigo. So this guy must be Alamigan. Thanks, detective.
Yep.
Way ahead of you, but
okay.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
But he recommends that we check out Little Alamigo in southern Thanalan.
Right.
And he has a daughter that works there as well, so he can refer us to her and give us an in.
Well, she abandoned Ulda and went to Little Alamigo for reasons, but doesn't say why.
It does. Yeah,
it does?
It does. Little Alamigo is a settlement for Alamigan refugees. It's located inside a rocky butte that is riddled with caves. And they've reinforced this natural formation with gates to keep it safe. Even so, the place is pretty miserable.
Yeah.
A lot of poverty there. No one likes Alamigans, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a rough setup, even with their vestige of infrastructure.
Yeah, it's a glorified refugee camp.
So we find Hihira there. It turns out she's not here to try and exploit or sell to the refugees, but she's here to try and help them. She's one of the rare Uldans who is moved by the plight of refugees.
Yeah.
And she wants to do a good thing. However, because they've been shit on so much, they do not trust her whatsoever.
Maybe do a dance. Maybe give them a little milk root.
Wrong crowd, but metaphorically, yes.
Yeah.
And if you do explore her side quests, she's initially trying to push Uldan remedies on them. And they're like, I'm not going to drink that shit. It's probably poison. Eventually, though, she's able to make some inroads by using Alamigan recipes and remedies. You eventually learn what they would use as medicine, and then she can provide that, and she actually she has some success that way in actually connecting with them and getting them to accept her help.
Good for her.
MSQ-wise, she says, hello, I can't really help you because these people don't trust me, but the leader, Gundobald, he's the guy for you. Gundobald is a older lancer with an impressive white mustache.
This guy is in great shape.
Yeah.
He looks the part of a settlement leader for sure, or the leader of a resistance. This long white hair, a bushy white mustache. He still has this, this chiseled face, but it has seen a lot of sun, a lot of wind, a lot of action. And he's got this like a lot of armor on and a very deep V shirt, and his six pack is just like bubdow. Anyway, that's Gundobald. And he's like, state your business, be quick about it. I don't give a fuck, please leave. Long story short, he doesn't care.
However, we do have more luck with the local Flames contact, Giselbert. He refers us to his scouts, and while we're running around, we may as well bring them some tea. Sure.
Some sweet Thanalan tea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the scouts are more concerned with their work than with our mysterious stranger. So we return to Giselbert, and he says, sorry, you'll probably have to win the trust of the Alamigans for them to actually share what they know with you.
Yeah, you're going to have to become pretty close with somebody, and not just somebody that Little Alamigo or Little Alamigans respect. That person will have to vouch for you. I mean, so this is a little bit different than just learning an introductory custom like a dance or an offering of a psychedelic. we're going to have to put in some serious legwork here.
So, Jen, who do we know that's Alamegan? Ida is...
Arnvald.
Ida is Alamegan. Ardenvald is Alamegan. He is the scion that we can talk to in the basement. We've not met him story-wise, but he's been around for a while. But no, it's not the familiar faces. They get no mention whatsoever.
Nah.
It's this new guy.
Which if you hadn't been like dicking around in the storage room, you would have no idea. You'd be like, who? Okay, I'll go check this guy out.
So we're going to go and meet officially Haribert, a.k.a. Sunglasses.
Harry Bear, Salt Bay.
Sure.
Renfair, Salt Bay.
He says that he'd love to help, but he left the Resistance to join the Scions, and so they won't give him the time of day.
He is persona non grata now. He's
Right.
considered a deserter. So even though his mission is still the same, he basically abandoned the Resistance. That's how they think about it, yeah.
Well, he does too. He admits when you talk to him.
That's why he's like, I'm a coward, right? Like, you know, he's trying to do what he thinks is best, and he probably thinks maybe the Resistance isn't, you know, he's just, like, I get it. He's trying to, like, cast a wide net. But, you know, don't call yourself a coward, bro. Like, geez.
He does know someone named Albreda in Quarry Mill that might have an in for us to the Resistance. And so we're off to South Shroud. Meanwhile, Ida is 10 feet away, talking to Neuraxia.
Yeah.
Quarry Mill is a short distance east of Buscaron's Druthers. This is the main population center in the South Shroud Zone. It's a small town surrounded by very tall wooden walls. Its name comes from its former purpose as the place where Gordania's stone foundations were milled down into functional shapes. So it's not the quarry, it's the mill where they worked the stone before it got shipped off to Gordania.
Nice.
And we find Albreda here. She is an Alamegan that has been accepted into the Shroud by the Elementals. And when we meet her at first, she is indignant that a traitor like Heribert would ask her for a favor. But she eventually relents and points us to a local resistance leader named Mefrid.
Well, she does say a few things. So it's obvious that these guys were in a relationship. So she's the ex-girlfriend of Harry Barrett, and she's still a little bit bitter over that. And so she's bitter about that, and she's bitter about the quote-unquote desertion and whatever, and she's just like, you know what, he's a good man, he's doing what he thinks is best. So, that said, you're going to want to talk to the captain of the Resistance in the South Shroud, and that's Mefrid over there.
So this was presented kind of confusingly. What we learn as we do this quest is that Mefrid is not stationed here or anything, because I wasn't sure why she was accepted, but he wasn't. But what we will figure out is that he and his compatriots are just passing through the South Shroud, but they are stuck here because some are injured.
Right.
But it seemed at first like he was a long-term fixture here.
Right.
And I was confused
just
about
posting up.
Why he was tolerated because he wasn't accepted by the Elementals like Albreda was.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that they were doing resistance stuff in Alamigo because Alamigo is not too far away from East Shroud.
Right.
And then they are now returning to Little Alamigo, but their injured can't go on without treatment. So they're stuck here.
Right. And nobody can treat them because the Elementals have willed it.
Nobody will treat them.
The Elementals have not given permission for anybody to treat them by, using the bounty of the woods. And people are very afraid to ruffle those feathers, which I understand because they can be a little, especially now, after Calamity, capricious and touchy. So Mefrid is like, yeah, my guy, while we're talking to Mefrid, one of the other Resistance guys runs up and he's like, Galleon's wounds are infected and he's feverish and I don't think he has much time left. And Mefrid is enraged. He's like, this is fucking insane. We've been here for how long? The villagers refuse to help us. I don't understand. And so he pleads for us to maybe work on his behalf and getting some of the villagers to help him, to provide medicine, something.
Right, because he's too pissed to
Yeah,
be
he's like, I'm not
diplomatic.
going to make any friends with this attitude.
Yep.
Fair. So we go to Albreda and we implore her to help, and she's like, again, this is the elementals have not willed it so, and that's it. I have to wash my hands of this. Maybe the village here can help you. And she can actually commune or listen to the elementals. They might give her permission. I don't know. Go talk to her.
And she says no. The elementals said that we will not accept the Alamegans, so they can fuck off and die.
Yeah, I mean, fair. The elementals have bad memories of Alamigo, and like this is where the capriciousness comes in. So that's that. I mean, we go back to Meffred with this news. Like we are shit out of luck in this, and he's infuriated.
Also, Albreda is afraid that if she were to do something that breaches the will of the elementals, that might ruin things for all of the accepted Alamegans because shit's fucked up.
It's a fragile position to be in, and I understand her reluctance, but Jesus, like a man's life is on the line. I don't know. Yeah, it's like walking on eggshells. It's like living in an abusive household.
Yep.
So he's, this man is infuriated, and he is desperate to save the life of his brother. These people are very close. And so he's like, all right, you know what I think I could use would be some antelope horn, and we can grind that down. And I believe it's used to kind of purge a body of poison. At the very least, we can try that. So we kill some antelopes.
What's not said here is that this actually might put us in danger of the elemental's wrath.
Right. We didn't get the message from the elementals that we're not allowed to do this. So,
I'm sure that's going to be a great argument.
Yeah, he should have told us like something else. I don't know. It's not for medicine. This is just for because I like antelope horn. So we have plausible deniability in the face of elementals.
It's because they are overpopulated. That's why you have to kill them.
Something, yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
we get the horns and go back to him, and he's like, okay, I don't have anything to prepare this, but do you know a guy named Buscarone? I hear that he's like kind of a helpful guy around town. I'm like, hey, as a matter of fact, I do. And he's just right over there. So we ride over to Buscarone and we tell him what's going on. And he's like, oh shit, no, I'll do you one better. I'll just give you some of this medicine that's already made. This is the medicine that I used when I myself had an infection and I was doing very poorly. And this shit saved my life.
And he learned it, though, from an Alamegan friend.
Right. So this is like, one good turn deserves another. So here's your shit. So we take the medicine back to deploy it upon Galleon with haste.
When we get back, though, we learn that this guy has left. He's left a letter behind saying that he's not going to slow down and burden his comrades any longer. So he's gone off into the forest to die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they're to carry on without him. And of course, they're like, fuck that. It is him walking into the woods in his state is suicide. Of course, he knew that. But they're not going to just let him. So we chase after him.
Right. And we find him at the mouth to a bat-infested tunnel. He's in rough shape. And also just then, a rogue goblin ambushes us. Yeah,
we find Galleon, and he's like, watch out, there's a goblin! And there's a goblin. Ha! And we beat the goblin. After this, then the rest of his crew run up, and Meffred is like, bro, don't you ever do that again. I love you, bro. We die together, or we die not at all. We're like, the all for one for all, blah, blah, blah. You motherfucker, you're gonna be in so much shit, but thank God you're alive, And so he's found. They administer the medicine. He's gonna pull through. Hallelujah. So because we've done all this for literally like for the resistance, Meffred is like, how can I ever repay you? And we're like, what we're trying to do is this, and we're trying to get an in with little El Amigo, and a word from you would go very, very far. And he's like, not a problem. Here's a letter. Give it to Gundobald. He used to be my mentor, actually. So that's basically a done deal at this point. So great. We head back to little El Amigo. To close out this segment of the quest, we go back to Gundobald, and again, he greets us with like, why the fuck are you here? I told you to leave. And we give him the letter from Meffred, and he is so happy to hear, one, that Meffred is like alive and well, and he says, if Meffred likes you, that's all I fucking need to know. I'll hear you out. And this is where we're going to stop because this gets into like a whole other like subplot within Little Alamigo, and it's going to take us, you know, at least like an episode to get through all of that. So this is where we end.
Did you like this bit, Jen?
I totally forgot about this bit, and I do like it. So we're just trying to find out Lahabrea. So it seems a little cute still. You know, we're just like running around town. Have you guys seen a masked man? Have you guys seen it? Has anybody seen a masked man? And then once again, running into a small faction of folk who don't take kindly to outsiders. It seems to be the theme.
Sure. I think this is done very well. Every step here serves to build the story. This is, okay, so we know shit all about this person.
Yeah.
We're starting from near scratch. And then we follow the trail of breadcrumbs to find information about this thing. And it's not going to be easy, of course, finding some enigmatic figure in the whole of the desert.
Yes. The thing that really like broke the case wide open was when we lit the coal and the member of the corpse brigade showed up. We never would have made that connection otherwise. If it was just like one of the, you know, Kakiran bros that showed up, we'd still be running around in Eastern Thanalan trying to find that connection, which there wouldn't really be one. But the corpse brigade guy, like, oh, okay, this is something. So now we have, and it was just like, it's unfolding this mystery.
Yeah. And also, every step is very tasky, but it doesn't feel like a chore because every step has story contained within it as well.
100%. It wasn't just step after step after step of like, go kill 4 antelope, go kill a goblin and steal his pouch of goodies, go do this and no, it's you're right. It has a legitimate tie to moving the story forward.
And what's impressive to me though is this feels very organic in the way it unfolds. It feels like if you were to have control of your character versus being on a linear story path, like if this were a tabletop RPG versus being a computer RPG, then you would do the same thing. Yeah. You would chase your lead and then you'd get a clue from there and so on. It feels like it unfolds very naturally.
Oh, totally.
Which I appreciated quite a bit.
And that's again, going back to the corpse brigade moment. If this were a tabletop RPG, we'd be like, oh, guys, wait. So where do the corpse brigades hang out? Oh, shit, they're like right across the street from Little Alamigo. Oh, that's right. They were banished from Little Alamigo because they were faithful to the old like piece of shit ruler of Alamigo when he was deposed. Oh, this is getting interesting. And then everybody at the table is going to rub their hands and go like, yeah, we're after you, motherfucker. Yeah, it was great.
I also like that we get to do a solo mission at last.
Yeah, man.
It's nice to feel like we are doing something versus being kind of led by the nose by a superior.
Right, or that we have like a chaperone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've earned our wings here.
Yes. We did the whole last one ourselves too. Ida and Papalymo just showed up to take credit for it.
They literally popped out of a bush.
Yep.
We're like, hey!
It's worth noting though that I did not have a single idea what Alamigo actually was on my first playthrough. Mm-mm. It gets name dropped a ton, but what is it though? Like,
it's so hard to pull together all of these random spread apart threads that are, well, they're not threads, they're just crumbs. Like a little mention here, a little mention here. You realize something happened. We don't know what's going on. But this really fleshes that out very nicely.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the Alamigan refugees apart from the other random refugees from the Calamity.
Exactly, yeah. So like, what's special about them exactly?
We know now, but
now we know.
We could have used a history lesson from one of the Scions. Maybe when we went back to get our
Alamigan... bro, you slippin'.
He's on break.
Literally everybody's in the break room.
But Minfilia should have told us before we talked to, what's his face?
Oh, Harry Barrett.
Maybe talk to Urian J, or maybe even Thancred. Thancred knows shit too.
All of them?
Whichever.
So we get three little MSQ comet symbols above these bitches, and we go talk to Harry Barrett, and he's like, and he'll tell us, like, I'm basically banished from that community because reasons, but Urian J can give you a little bit more background info on why that's problematic. And then we go to Urian J, and he would give us a flowery story, and maybe half of it we wouldn't be able to understand. And then we go to Thancred, and he'd be like, bitch, and then, yeah. But it still was kind of laid out for us in our interactions with Mefred and his crew. And again, just humanizing that whole section of the population, where before it was like El Amigo. It means something. I don't know what.
This goes back to my thesis about A Realm Reborn, where it undersells its own story.
I know, right?
Because all the disparate pieces of El Amigo that are spread across Eorzea are all very interesting.
Yes.
We have the Corpse Brigade, who are one faction who've taken one approach. There's the refugees. There's the resistance. There's the people who have assimilated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they all are doing something, but without understanding where they came from, it's hard to understand what's happening in the present.
Yes.
But with that knowledge, though, it's very rich and complex what's happened to them in the story.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't give you the tools in its order of presentation to really parse it.
Right. But in a way, that does kind of keep it keeps it titillating, you know, as you try to move on with the story. And that's literally why when I first started playing this game, I was spending 6, 7, 8 hours a day playing this, because I could not get enough of this story. I was like, I gotta find this out. And it consumed me. It was literally another full-time job. I spent that much fucking time in it.
Full-time leisure.
Yeah. And I was happy to do it.
Also, this was COVID too, so what else are you gonna do? Exactly.
I know, and it was actually perfect. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything else. It was great.
Any other comments, Jen?
Nope. But the next segment that's coming up, I did forget about this, and I'm kind of excited for it. I think this adds yet another facet to the Little Alamegan story.
Nice. That'll be in 2 episodes. Next time, we are exploring our very first Disciple of the Land.
Woo!
We'll be talking about the botanist job.
Yay!
See you then.
All right, that will do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to get in touch, like maybe telling us why Liviane is pitchforking the floor, you can. You can reach us at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com or via Twitter at podreturn. And have a great day. Have a great day. And we will see you next time.